So good morning students. Today we are going to learn design of IR filter from analog filters. So first what you are doing, you are designing Butterworth and Chebyshev analog filters. Once the analog filter design is done, you have to convert it into digital. Directly you cannot design a digital filter. So for that reason, what you have to do, you have to go for a mapping. Okay, so there are two types of transformation which are there in your syllabus. With the help of these two transformations, you can convert an analog filter into digital. So basically, whenever you are dealing with analog filter design, you are dealing with J-ohm axis and the S-plane. But in case of, and you are saying that whenever the poles are having negative real part and the poles which are lying in the left half of S-plane, they are stable. Okay, so if I want to convert it into digital, then we have to go for Z-plane. In Z-plane, whichever poles are lying inside the unit circle, they are only stable. So this is a stability criteria in Z-plane. Okay, so there is a direct relationship between these two frequency variables in two domains. Okay, so the left half of S-plane contains the stable poles and the unit circle in the Z-plane contains the stable pole. So a stable analog filter can be converted into a stable digital filter. So these are the most widely used methods for digitizing the analog filter into digital filter. First one is bilinear transformation and the second one is impulse invariance transformation. So today we are going to learn bilinear transformation. I think in the lab you would have dealt with this bilinear transformation. Okay. So in case of your bilinear transformation, you can see this is a substitution which we are going to use in bilinear transformation. S equals to 2 by T into 1 minus Z inverse divided by 1 plus Z inverse. So once you design this H of S, once the design is done or over, H of S is ready, you are going to convert H of S into H of Z by doing this substitution. So wherever S is there, you are replacing S with 2 by T into 1 minus Z inverse by 1 plus Z inverse. Okay, so to derive this, there is a small derivation. So you have to take a simple first order derivative. dy by dt is equal to x of t. Now if you take the Laplace transform on both the sides, you will get sy of s equals to x of s. Okay. Now if you integrate this equation within the limits n minus 1t to nt, dy by dt equals to n minus 1t to nt x of t dt. If you integrate it by putting the appropriate limits, what you will get? Y of nt minus y of n minus 1t, which is equal to n minus 1t nt into x of t dt. There is a trapezoidal rule over here. According to that rule, your n minus 1t to nt x of t dt can be written as the x of nt, that is the upper limit, plus x of the lower limit divided by 2 into the width. Width means upper limit minus lower limit. If you do nt minus n minus 1 of t, you will get t. So this rule is known as trapezoidal rule. So you can apply that rule to the RHS side. So once you apply that rule to the RHS side, you are getting y of nt minus y of n minus 1t equals to x of nt plus x of n minus 1t by 2 into t. So x of nt can be approximated to x of n. Similarly, y of nt can be approximated to y of n. So the equation becomes equals to y of n minus y of n minus 1 can be written as x of n plus x of n minus 1 by 2 into t. Okay, so if you take Z transform on both the sides, what you will get? Y of z minus z inverse y of z can be written as x of z plus z inverse x of z by 2 into t. Okay, so if you take y of z common, you will get y of z into 1 minus z inverse, which is equal to 1 plus z inverse by 2 into x of z into t. So this is your x of z. Okay, 2 by t into 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse into y of z. Now if you compare it, these two equations, you will get s equals to 2 by t into 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Okay, so if you want to get a relationship between s and z, this is the relation. If you want to write s in terms of this, if you solve it, z inverse can be written as 1 by z. So you just solve it, you will get this. Okay, so this is a substitution which we are going to put so far as bilinear transformation is concerned. Okay, so S can be written as 2 by t into z minus n 1 by z plus 1, or you can directly write like this. Okay, so wherever S is there in the transfer function h of s, you are going to replace S with 2 by t into 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Now you take, let us take S as sigma plus j ohm. What is S actually? It is pole, right? How do you write a pole? The real part plus j times the imaginary part. So S can be written as sigma plus j ohm. And in case of your z plane, how do you write? So z can be written as r e power j omega. Why are we writing r e power j omega? Because we are saying that the poles are said to be stable if they lie in the unit circle. Okay, so they can lie. This is the equation of a circle, r e power j theta. That's the equation of the circle. So we can write z equals to r e power j omega. Now you can write sigma plus j ohm can be written as 2 by t into r e power j omega minus 1 divided by r e power j omega plus 1. So which can be written as, if you solve, e power j omega can be written as cos j omega plus j times sin j omega. Okay, and r is multiplied and there is a minus 1. So just separate the real and imaginary parts. So you will get like this. Okay, then rationalize both. If you rationalize both, multiply the numerator and denominator by this component and do a little bit manipulation, you will get this term. Separate the real and imaginary parts, you will get this term. Okay, so compare the real part with sigma, compare the imaginary part with ohm. So you are getting this. Now, if r is less than 1, what will happen? Okay, if r is less than 1, okay, so sigma will also be less than 0. R square is less than 1. So definitely it will be a negative value. If it is a negative value, definitely sigma will be negative. Okay, so that means the poles will be stable. If r square is greater than 1, sigma will be positive. R is greater than 1, r square will be greater than 1, so sigma will be positive. When sigma is positive, then the poles are not stable. If r is equal to 1, we get sigma is equal to 0. When sigma becomes equal to 0, we can say that the poles are marginally stable. This is what is your bilinear transformation.